Greetings from the Puyallup Public Library. I am Kim Zeiger, and today I will be teaching how to write in a calligraphy style focusing on the word thankful. The supplies you will need are a pencil, a ruler. I like using a clear ruler because I can see the bottom and the top of my paper. A pencil sharpener is nice, an eraser, and then several thicknesses of Sharpies. I have a regular Sharpie, not super thin, and then I have thicker Sharpies or permanent markers. I'm using permanent, but you must protect your table. Be sure you've got scratch paper on your table so you don't ruin your mother's table. And it's a lot easier to throw away a paper than to have to take off a marker. Parents, if you don't want to use a permanent marker, you can use watercolor. I do know that this seems to be cleaner lines though with a Sharpie or permanent. Also, I have a gray pen that I use for my shadow, but you can also use a pencil if you like, if you don't have a gray marker. I'm using my colored pencils, and you can use fall colors if you like, or your favorite color. And then I'm also using some construction paper, which we're folding to make a tent. We'll need scissors and glue. So I'd like you to pause right now and just pause the machine and go get your supplies. Hello! Welcome to our calligraphy class focusing on the word Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a time to count our blessings. We're thankful for our food, our clothes, our families, our teachers, the library. Today we're going to create a word card by folding a piece of construction paper. And you're going to fold it the long way, so it's like a tent. I'm going to call this a tent while we go through our lesson so that you know what it looks like. It looks like a tent if you were going camping in the summer. And then we're going to place our word that we're going to create today on the center part of it. I do have a handout to give you, and I realize part of this needs to be cut off at the top and on the bottom. And that can be done after you've created your word. And you can create your own words. The only thing I ask is that you measure it carefully with a ruler and a pencil, because this will help you center your lettering better. And the more time you spend centering it with a ruler and getting it positioned right, and practice with a pencil first to keep it light, the better your outcome will be with your word. You can display your signs on a shelf, on a windowsill, above the kitchen sink, or on a Thanksgiving table. There's many, many different ways that you can display it to emphasis celebrating Thanksgiving. And you can also use other words. These are ones that I have practiced with. We have thankful here in cursive, which is doubled on the downstroke. Thankful with a lowercase t. Grateful is another word for thankful. And this is in block letters. And then here's just something I've done in calligraphy that I did for the Puyallup, the Washington State Fair. And I did fall in a calligraphy design. I have some vocabulary words I'd like to go through. When I'm talking, I'll be using some of these words so that you know what I'm talking about. So first of all, calligraphy is a word that means artistic handwriting. And calligraphy can be so many different fonts. You will find fonts on the computer in your different styles of writing. And you can, if you like a font that you work with, you're welcome to practice that and then use that in your lettering. So my name is Mrs. Zeiger, and other vocabulary words I want to teach you are faux. Why don't you say the word faux? It's a funny word. It's F-A-U-X. You don't hear the X. Faux. It's a French word meaning fake. And then there's a nib. A nib is the pointed end part of a pen. So you have nibs on a regular pen, the pointed part. But for calligraphy pens, the nibs will look like this with a little line on it. And it's the pointed part that brings the ink out into your paper. Another word is serif. And it's a small line attached to the end of a letter. So for the word letter, I put a serif on the bottom and the top of the letters to show you. And cursive is another one that has letters joined together. And the last word on my chart here is embellish. Embellish is to decorate, add flourishes to, and to beautify. And I made a big flourish on the bottom. A flourish can often be separate from your word. So for creating our piece today, I have pre-written out thankful words, block print and cursive here. And I also have some calligraphy on a page that you can use. Calligraphy is not quite cursive, it's slanted letters using a printing style, but they're slanted. And what you're going to be doing when we work through our assignments is we're going to be doubling the letters. We're going to double them to make it look like we're using a calligraphy pen. But you don't even need a calligraphy pen. You can use plain old Sharpie, and I'm also using a thick Sharpie because it helps with the thickness going down. And the letters that we're using are big enough that a thick one will work. If you're making a little sign, you wouldn't want to use something this big. Sometime when I make posters, I even use a huge calligraphy pen like this. And I've written on white on black or dark, and you can use a white calligraphy pen. A lot of these pens you can buy at Michael's or order on Amazon or get at Hobby Lobby, all kinds of craft stores. They even have some calligraphy pens at Fred Meyer, Walmart. You can look around. This particular pen is called a scroll pen, and it splits in half. So my grateful sign I did over here, I did with the split scroll pen. This is my favorite, but you would have to buy this. It goes so much quicker than what I'm going to be teaching you today. But I'm showing you this so that you can do it on your own. If you have posters to make for school, or if you have some kind of fancy lettering you'd like to do for special occasions, birthdays, cards, and of course Thanksgiving. All right, I think we're ready to begin. Like I said, it's very important that you measure it out, which I've pre-done with this page. We are going to be taking our regular Sharpie, and this isn't ultra fine, this is just fine. And you're going to be going over each letter, and you're going to trace over the letter that I have in the handout. And because I have this embellishment for the top of my T, I started backwards with the top of the T. And then for my H, with my cursive H, you slant it up and bring it straight down. And bring it up to create the A. If you don't know cursive yet, you can look at printing letters with a capital and then lowercase letters, and then connect them together with a slant. And that's pretty much what you have. Some are a little bit different, but I can walk you through those, and you can use this to try to go smoothly with your cursive. The second step that you're going to do is you're going to use a thicker pen or if you don't have a thick one, you can go a couple times with the regular Sharpie to do the downstroke. And you only go downstroke. Don't do the side strokes. So for my T, I'll bring it straight down right next to where my downstroke is. So on the capital T, this is all you'll see for the thickness. And for the H, you bring it up and then down. So only on the downstroke is where it's going to be thick. And then you come up to make the top part of the H that curves down, and only on the downstroke. For the A, only on the downstroke going down, and on the other side. And I've practiced these so much that I know what the downstrokes are and what the upstrokes are. So for the N, you're only going to have 2 downstrokes because this one is an upstroke. For the K goes up, and then you come down to the back of the K. And then it curves to the front. For the F, there's only 1 downstroke, the back of the F. And if you don't know cursive, you can find it online, or you can get some cursive books at the library, as well as calligraphy books that they offer here. And then you can spiff it up a little bit, making sure all the lines are covered on my handout. And then if there's anything that looks a little jagged, you can just go over those lines where it makes it smoother. Then for the embellishment, which will be the leaves on the T, I'm going to outline those, and then you may add more detail to this by adding lines on the leaves, like a leaf might be showing the veins on the leaf if you look close. But you can also take a colored pencil then and color in the leaf. You could use a colored pencil, you could use a colored marker. It's up to you what you might like to use to color it in. I've even had some students use paint with very, very small marks that can color in. Very small brush strokes of paint, and only in the leaf area. For some of the backgrounds for your words, you can add a faux wood. Again, then we're using the word faux, fake wood. And so this looks like just putting lines with the side of a crayon, or even the side of a colored pencil, makes it look like fake wood. Now this is a real piece of wood here, and I just painted that right on there. This particular wood here is old wood that was painted a real dark, dark brown first. So you finish your leaves up, and then using a ruler, you want to measure off what you're going to be cutting off to fit onto your tent. So you want to measure from the bottom, and I will make this real dark so that you can see about how much you want to cut off. Normally I would just use a pencil because I wouldn't want this to show. But to show you online, I'm going to use a marker. And then I'll tell you how much I'm cutting off of the bottom and the top. So measuring, it is 1/2 inch off the bottom, and from the center line, 1/2 inch off the top. And then you'll take your scissors, cut it off, take your glue stick, and glue it on, and then you'll have your word for your display. For the calligraphy pens, I wanted to show you some of the calligraphy pens. There's different types of calligraphy pens. You can get colorful ones. Here's a nib with 2.0, and this is pretty small. It's 2.0 millimeters. Here's one with 3.5. The nib is flat going one direction and real wide going the other. And when you're using the calligraphy pen, it helps you to do the letters without doing another downstroke. And I'm going to demonstrate that with my top word of thankful in block letters. So to do that, I would angle my calligraphy pen, and if you get a book, you'll see the way to angle it, a 45-degree angle. And you bring it down, and then when you go across, it's very thin. Down, and across is thin. Down and down. I am running out of ink on this one. And so this is what it will look like when you've done that. To show shadowing, I have a gray felt tip marker that I use for shadowing. For shadowing, it makes it look like the words pop out. So you'll see for this, I have a shadow underneath each letter. It's either to the right or underneath each letter. And it makes it look like it's popping out of the paper and you see a shadow behind it. It's like when you're outside and you see your shadow on the ground. And so for that shadowing, you don't want to have it right next to the letter, but bring it about a fourth of an inch, if they're real big letters, or 1/8 of an inch, closer than a 1/4 of an inch, closer to the letter, after you've created your lettering thickness. You want your lettering thickness to be done first. For the shadowing, you are going to the right and underneath. To the right, and you can keep saying that out loud if you want, if it helps you. To the right, and you can do all your letters underneath first if that helps. So I'll show you what I mean by all the letters underneath. See, I did all of these letters underneath first, and then go to the right. Now, if you choose for your letters to be underneath and to the left, that works too. Depends on where you want your sign to go. I'm teaching right now with them all to the right, and it only needs to be shadowed on the right. And if it's not perfect, don't worry. You know, and each time you practice this, you get better. Another nice thing would be for Thanksgiving is to write your family's names on name tags and put them at the table for Thanksgiving. So there we have a shadow on Thanksgiving in your cursive. So for other words, if you would like an opportunity to do other words, the calligraphy style of thankful, or the word grateful in cursive, or grateful in block letters, or blessed, another word for being thankful, these will be available by PDF requested on the library website. Of course, so you smooth out the word on top using glue around the perimeter on the back. And the tent will look like this. It'll look that way, and it will stand up nicely on a table or on a windowsill or a bookshelf or your table. Also, if you'd like, you can create words inside to thank someone for what you're thankful for. Your parents would love to have a little thank you note, or someone special to you. With this particular one, I finished off the edges and made it bumpy and colored it in to make it look like faux wood. For the photo of your work, if you would like to take a photo and submit it to Facebook or send it on the library email, you may. It'd be nice to see what you've done. And if you don't want to use the word thankful, you could use another word and show us what you've done. Another thing I like to do is I like to collect samples of lettering of different fonts and calligraphy that I like. So here's one that I got out of a magazine. I just like the way the swirls go and the lettering is and the extra embellishments. And look at this cheesy. It makes you think of cheese melting or batter of brownie word. I liked this font on the magazine that I got here. And then I've seen signs, and so I just practiced on my own of how I wanted to discover how to work with those letterings. Here's another advertisement, and then this one I just really enjoyed. So I have this sample with the different fonts and the different embellishments and the way it pops off the paper. Those kind of letters just really make me happy. So I hope that you have enjoyed creating a thankful word on a card, on a tent with me today. Thank you.